The geometric labyrinth is fun, but it's honestly mid at best, and I'm gonna go over as to why I think that way. One of the big reasons why I think that way is because it does not feel good in solo play. Solo play basically makes it so that way you have no choice but to play nearly perfectly, because if you die, you either have to use one half doll, which is all you're allowed to use, or buy scape dolls. For the most part, this doesn't lend itself to being incredibly fun for solo play. And it's a challenge being able to perfect how you wind up playing and how you continue to improve at the game. But for the most part, if you wind up doing any of the later challenges and increasing the difficulty, if you decide to use anything like randomized C, where the Gigantics enemies come into play, you wind up wasting more time and you leave yourself to more openings to dying than anything else. Sure, the cuckoo weapons are definitely helpful, but unfortunately, it still winds up being, at some point, you get hit, you're dead in some way, shape, or form. Still fun. It's just not solo friendly. Now, there are a couple ways they can fix this to be able to give us a solid stack of respawns whenever you queue in solo. And also, if you decide to go in solo, at least maybe give you another score multiplier, so that way that effort is also met and worthwhile. Basically making it easier to obtain S ranks than it would be to obtain S ranks as a party. Solo S rank should be accomplished more than maybe with party S rank. That's not to say that the geometric labyrinth isn't fun. It actually is a lot of fun. And I think it's probably the best set of content that the game has had in a while. Basically, these are not divide quests. These are their own set of things. And while they are a little bit more difficult for the game that we currently have right now, they will continue to scale and be updated as more content is released, considering the fact that these are future-proofed as they are currently to continue to scale to your level, making it so that way it's always relevant content, even without them updating it. Although I do hope they update it, considering the fact that it would be nice to have different loot items that are available within this as the level caps continue to increase. Now, I use scaling in this case as a broad term. One of the reasons why I use scaling is because it scales not only in the actual challenges that you set, that you unlock as you continue to go along, but it also scales in terms of the player level, enemy level, and things of that nature. Now, the geometric labyrinth is actually really cool because you can queue up from it just like any other thing that you wind up coming across in the map. All you have to do is hit it on your map, hit start quest, and then the challenge settings will appear. When you begin, you will have enemy HP plus 25%, enemy attack plus 25%, then increased rest assigned consumption, decreased max carry limit, and then random challenges A, B, and C. And these are actually a lot of fun, although random challenges A, basically they're not random, but they are random when they will trigger. Basically, it'll be your max HP will decrease by 50% on some floors, and your PP will decrease by 50 on some floors. And then random challenge B is you have your PP consumption will increase by 30% on some floors, and your photon blast gauge increase rate will decrease by 90% on some floors. Then you also have random challenge C, which is you get negative 20 HP every 10 seconds. And then Gigantics enemies will basically have the ability to turn random enemies into Gigantics. Now, for solo play, based on the studies that I've seen of a lot of other people so far, you don't want to use random challenge C because it just makes it too difficult. The enemies have way too much HP, and then that negative HP decrease is just too substantial, considering you have minimal mistakes to be able to make, especially if maybe, let's say, your random challenge A or B are procced at the same time. Although I don't know if they can proc at the same time, but anyway, you guys can let me know in the comments. Now, so far with all of this, it's, again, a lot of fun because you can determine your challenge level. How much more difficult do you want the quest to be? And the only difference that really takes is your overall score. Now, that's all it is. It doesn't actually affect the loot that you wind up getting. For the most part, you might get more loot. You might have a chance of getting some of the rare loot, but the loot pool will wind up remaining the same. So if, let's say, that all you wanted to get is clear quest bank B, and maybe that's all you're capable of doing, you can still farm that. You might have a lower chance of getting some of the rare items as somebody who's completing them and getting S ranks, but you're still able to get them. So overall, I mean, the solo play for the most part for this quest is not fun. And honestly, it does need a lot of work, but when you play this as a party, it's just it's just a ton of fun. You can play with as many or as all of the challenges that you want. You basically get your half-scape dolls, you get revives, you also have your heals. You probably want to take a Techer or Force with you, or even both, because it's just Techers and Forces are just really good in this quest. And then just go have fun. It'd be treated like you were doing Purple Battle Dia quest in that case. But with the fact that there is some added challenge here, the random challenges do make it a little bit more fun than normal. Some maps are actually really cool. The only thing that I would really like to see out of this iteration is just more variety of the actual maps themselves. Like, I would love it to where they maybe every week or every couple of weeks or maybe even every update, they add a couple new tile sets that are available in this, so that way it continues to evolve and every time you run it is just a different experience. Because as things stand right now, my other complaint is that things are just, again, following that same repetitive nature that we see in the rest of the game. Although this content is fun, running the same maps over and over will eventually, excuse me, that was gross. I'm sorry. Will eventually lead to burnout, the same way that we wind up seeing people being burnt out on combat zones or even some of the urgent quests. Overall, like I said, I do still find this fun, but it's not quite where I think it should be for it to actually be incredibly, you know, the peak of content for Phantasy Star. It's more so, it's a little bit of an added challenge to the things that we already do. So with that being said, as much as I really love the Geometric Labyrinth, it is still mid. It's fun, but still mid in the grander scheme of things. But anyway, I'm hoping that this is something that they're going to continue to update. It's not just going to fall into the void where everything eventually goes, because I would like to see this continue to improve and the game to continue to improve. Right now, I'm seeing a lot of people who are doom posting rather consistently, and it maybe a lot of you guys have noticed in my comment section or even on my Twitter, it is getting to me a little bit, but again, it's not personal, and I hope that nobody takes it that way. It's just, it's beginning to be a lot, considering there are way more people doom posting now as the game is continue to improve than there was when the game had first launched. So that's just the discrepancy there. And that's why, if you guys have seen it, I apologize. And I hope that you understand, because that is my fault. And again, if you don't, I completely understand, but I want to own that, right? Because I do believe in transparency and other things of that nature. But anyway, guys, thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay awesome, stay beautiful. And also leave comments on what you would want to see improved in the Geometric Labyrinth, or even just in the rest of the game. Leave comments on what you want to see improved right now. Not the game is bad and then that's it. Just what do you want to see improved? Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm out.